Renako receives an unexpected confession from Mai at school one day, catching her completely off guard. During lunch, she tries her best to act normal, laughing along and keeping pace with the conversation. But the pressure of pretending wears on her quickly. Unable to handle the nerves, she abruptly excuses herself from the group and rushes to the rooftop. There, with no one around, she finally exhales. She leans against the railing, reflecting on her struggles. Socializing has never come easy to her, especially since middle school. Back then, she began noticing how everyone had someone, friends, partners, people they could naturally be themselves around. Meanwhile, she was always left out and alone. Determined to change, she made a bold decision to transform herself. She changed her appearance, practiced being outgoing, and enrolled in a new high school where no one knew her past. Her mother and older sister praised the shift, happy as she was growing out of her introversion. For Renako, this was her chance to live a normal, ordinary school life. However, meeting Mai had changed things. Mai is a model admired by nearly everyone, and the daughter of a famous fashion designer. Mai seemed to be everything Renako wasn't. Yet when Renako nervously introduced herself to Mai, something incredible happened. Mai welcomed her. From that day forward, Renako became part of Mai's group. But even surrounded by new friends, she couldn't shake the feeling that she didn't belong. Among the effortlessly dazzling girls, Renako always saw herself as the odd one out. She saw herself as the ugly duckling. She tried hard to keep up. The strain of acting cheerful and confident all the time was beginning to show. The rooftop had become her only sanctuary, the one place where she could drop the act even for just a little while. Mai suddenly appears on the roof and freezes when she sees Renako by the railing. Misunderstanding the situation, she panics thinking Renako is about to jump. She bolts forward and yells out, startling Renako, who stumbles and falls over the edge. Without hesitation, Mai leaps after her, managing to grab hold of Renako midair. Mai reassures her that they'll be okay since she has incredible luck. They land miraculously unharmed on some branches, but Mai's trembling voice gives away that she actually doubted her luck for a bit. Mai explains that she'd noticed something was off with Renako lately, so she decided to follow her. Renako quickly clarifies that she wasn't planning anything drastic. She had just wanted to enjoy the breeze, and Mai's sudden appearance startled her into falling. Realizing she caused the fall, Mai's expression darkens with guilt. Renako quickly tries to reassure her that it was an accident. Finally, Renako opens up. She tells Mai the truth, that it's hard for her to keep up with conversations. She constantly second-guesses everything she says, afraid she's always saying the wrong thing. Mai listens silently. Her expression remains smiling as if she didn't really understand Renako's troubles. Suddenly, Mai thinks she has been pressuring Renako this whole time, and the guilt starts to show on her face. Renako, noticing it, quickly speaks up to reassure her. She explains that she's not being pressured. She's just a regular introvert. Spending time with people, even with someone she likes as much as Mai, can be draining. She tells Mai that she genuinely enjoys talking with her, but just takes a lot of energy to keep up. Mai gently pats Renako on the back, saying that she can relate at least a little. She admits that although she thrives in social settings, she often feels invisible, like people only see the model version of her, not who she really is. That loneliness creeps in sometimes, no matter how many friends surround her. She apologizes for showing a weaker side of herself, but Renako immediately responds that it's nothing to be ashamed of. In fact, seeing this vulnerable side of Mai is oddly refreshing and encouraging. Renako tells her that constantly performing a role is exhausting, and she admires Mai for handling it with such grace. If anything, she believes Mai deserves a break too. Mai is clearly moved. It's as though a heavy burden has been lifted from her. She thanks Renako, her voice lighter now, and they make a promise to be real friends from now on. And then for the first time, Renako calls Mai by her first name. She pulls out a key to the rooftop and tells Mai that they can meet at the rooftop and confide in each other if ever they feel like they need a break from acting. Mai pulls out a matching key, and they make a promise on both keys. Back in the classroom, Renako returns first and tries to calm her worried friends after her earlier exit. But before she can find the right words, Mai arrives and steps in, effortlessly easing everyone's concerns by saying that Renako just needed some air. Watching her, Renako can't help but admire Mai all over again. Everyone loves her, but Renako is grateful to be someone who knows the real Mai. Deep inside, she hopes that one day they'll be best friends. The next day on the rooftop, Mai meets Renako and out of nowhere, confesses her love. Renako steps back, stunned. She leans on the railing, trying to process what she just heard as it feels impossible. Mai calmly approaches her and points out that Renako isn't seeing anyone, so it shouldn't be a problem. With sparkles in her eyes, Mai explains softly that she's never opened up to anyone before. But with Renako, something was different. Being vulnerable with her and felt exhilarating. She couldn't stop thinking about it. Renako insists that anyone would have comforted her, but Mai disagrees. It was Renako that made her feel seen. Even as Renako tries to deflect, the blush on her face gives her away, and Mai thinks that Renako feels the same way despite Renako constantly denying her feelings. Mai then asks if the problem is because they are both girls. The question makes Renako pause. She starts to really think about it. Before she can fully collect her thoughts, Mai steps in front of her and asks if she still has a chance. Renako tries to stay firm as she explains that what she truly wants is a best friend. She isn't ready for anything more than that. Mai then wonders aloud why they can't just be girlfriends instead. Renako answers by pointing out the downside of being in a relationship. If they ever break up, things would change and everything they've built might fall apart. Her words hit Mai hard. The look on her face becomes disheartened from the sudden rejection. Realizing she might have been too harsh, Renako softens her tone. She tries to explain herself better and says that she still wants to stay close to Mai. Hearing that, Mai's expression brightens again. Then, with her usual boldness, she proposes a compromise. That evening, Renako returns home and takes a long soak in the bath, her mind still busy thinking about what Mai suggested. On some days, they would just be friends, but on other days, they'd act like a couple. This way, they could see for themselves whether they were better suited as friends or as lovers. The thought of dating Mai causes Renako's face to heat up. Mai had promised that she'd use the couple days to prove just how amazing it would be to date her. Renako figures that Mai just wants to turn it into a contest and use it as a way to win her over. Even so, Renako loudly declares to do her best. She and Mai will end up staying as friends. By the third day of their new arrangement, Renako is irritated. They had agreed that if Mai wore her hair tied up, they'd act like friends, but if it was down, they'd be a couple for the day. Mai had worn her hair down for 3 days straight, stacking the odds against Renako from the start. As if to make things worse, Mai pulls her in close and says they've already been friends for 2 months, so it's only fair that they try being a couple a little longer. Renako tries to push her away, nervous they might get caught while they're still in school. Mai doesn't seem to care, clinging to her affectionately like a golden retriever. Renako can't help but wonder what Mai even sees in her. Her thoughts are cut short when Mai calls her cute for being insecure and holds her tighter, causing Renako to turn beet red. Flustered and overwhelmed, Renako finally pushes her away harder this time and scolds her for being so smug and acting like everything will just go her way. Despite that, she reaches out and affectionately pats Renako on the head, telling her to back down from their little battle. But Renako refuses, standing her ground and trying to leave the restroom. Mai only smiles at her feisty response and admits she likes this side of Renako. Back in the classroom, Renako is met by Ajizai, who casually brings up the topic of dating. She asks Renako what kind of person she'd rather date, though before Renako can answer, Ajizai adds that kindness and care matter more than wealth. Renako gives her a tired smile and says that whoever ends up dating her would be pretty lucky. Ajizai responds with a dazzling smile that takes Renako by surprise, and for a moment, she honestly believes Ajizai might be an angel in disguise. She even admits to herself that if it had been Ajizai who had confessed to her instead of Mai, she probably would have considered dating her. The quiet moment is interrupted when Mai, Kaho, and Satsuki enter the room, their energy immediately filling the space. They join the conversation quickly, and Kaho brings up the idea of hanging out after school. Satsuki, however, turns the offer down, saying she wants to focus on studying so she can finally beat Mai in her studies. Renako agrees to hang out without thinking, but soon after, the nervousness starts to rise inside her again. Mai, noticing this, steps in and proposes they postpone the hangout. Renako's eyes widen. She realizes that Mai had said that for her sake, and the thought that Mai could be such a thoughtful and caring girlfriend causes her to blush. Mai then encourages Kaho to study as well and tells Satsuki she'll be cheering her on, though she jokingly adds that Satsuki will never actually beat her. The teasing makes Ajizai smile as she recalls that Mai and Satsuki have been childhood friends. Then Kaho suddenly turns to Renako and asks if something happened between her and Mai. Renako quickly denies it, but Mai just gives her a knowing, playful look. Kaho isn't convinced and points out how Mai has been giving Renako flirty glances all day. Taking the chance to tease her further, Mai wraps her arms around Renako and declares that she's gained a new fan recently, and it is Renako. Kaho jokingly acts hurt, claiming she's supposed to be Mai's #1 fan. Renako's face turns red again, struggling to process everything that's just happened. After school, Renako is surprised to find herself in a VIP swimming pool instead of the cozy cafe she was expecting. She scolds Mai for bringing her there without warning. Mai simply says that the tea served by the pool is excellent, which only causes Renako to panic more, thinking about the cost. Mai casually reassures her that everything's free for members and she has already signed Renako up as a member, meaning she can access the pool and its snacks anytime. Still overwhelmed, Renako gives Mai a long look and notices that she's changed into a rather alluring swimsuit. Mai, looking as confident as ever, invites Renako to swim and take advantage of the facilities. But Renako refuses, growing quiet as she admits her discomfort with wearing a swimsuit due to her insecurities. Mai seems to understand immediately. She tells Renako that she hadn't planned on swimming either. If she did, she would have to tie her hair, and that would switch them back to being friends, officially ending their date. Instead, she stays seated, and the two quietly enjoy their tea in the peaceful poolside atmosphere. Renako thanks her for the thoughtful date and the luxurious experience. Mai simply gives her a smug smile and says she was just doing her job as Renako's partner. As their date ends, Mai walks her to the train station. Before parting ways, Renako asks Mai to tie her hair up tomorrow. Mai promises with a smile, then unexpectedly leans in as if to kiss her. Rinako panics and turns away, flustered, reminding her that they've only been dating for 3 days. Instead of pushing further, Mai gently pulls Rinako's hand away from her face and gives her a soft kiss on the nose, assuring her she would never force anything on her. Rinako immediately dashes to the platform, overwhelmed and bright red. Finally away from Mai, she makes a vow to herself that tomorrow, when they're friends again, she'll do everything she can to prove that being friends is way better than being lovers. As promised, Mai wears her hair up the next day, officially making it a friend day. Encouraged by the gesture, Rinako decides to invite her over to her house after school. Once they arrive, Rinako brings Mai to her room. Mai pauses for a moment, unable to find the right words to describe what she's seeing. Rinako quickly realizes it's probably because her room resembles a middle school boy's room more than anything else. Feeling slightly self-conscious, she admits that she enjoys video games and that it's something she's always been into. To her surprise, Mai reveals that she's never actually played video games before, but she's eager to try them out. Rinako, a little excited by the idea of sharing her favorite hobby, invites Mai to sit beside her for a co-op game. She's never had the chance to play games with a real friend before, so the moment feels special to her. As they set up the game, Mai takes the opportunity to throw in a playful tease, saying she's Rinako's first. Rinako gives her a quick scolding but lets it slide. Once the game begins, Rinako takes the lead, patiently explaining the controls and game mechanics. To her delight, Mai follows along easily. They play in sync, and Rinako feels a quiet happiness at the harmony between them. She watches Mai and notices that she's not only getting the hang of the game, but genuinely enjoying herself. This moment reinforces Rinako's belief that they are better off as best friends. However, the next day tells a different story. Mai wears her hair down again and sends Rinako a text asking if she can come over. Rinako hesitates but ends up agreeing. Later that day, after class, she slumps over her desk, worrying about having Mai over again. Ajisai notices and asks if she's okay. Rinako explains she has a friend coming over but was hoping to catch up on some studying. Ajisai says that hanging out with a friend is always worth it since studying can wait. When she asks what they plan to do, Rinako hesitates. She's too embarrassed to mention gaming, worried that Ajisai might judge her. Instead, she vaguely says they'll just be relaxing in her room. Luckily, Ajisai doesn't press further. After school, Mai and Rinako return to her house, where Rinako's mother is visibly stunned to see someone like Mai. With her model-like appearance, Mai looks like a celebrity standing next to Rinako. Mai confidently tells Rinako's mother that she and Rinako have a good relationship, which instantly causes Rinako to panic. She hurriedly pulls Mai to her room, telling her mother they'll just be playing games. Once inside, Rinako slams the door and demands an explanation. Mai casually says she meant they had a good relationship as classmates, unless Rinako had something else in mind. Realizing she's been baited, Rinako refuses to answer. She heads straight to her desk and declares she just wants to play games. Mai joins her, smiling as she remarks that she tends to be good at most things once she starts. Then, Mai does something unexpected. She picks out a fighting game from Rinako's collection and asks if they can play that instead. She realizes that while Mai seems good at almost everything, video games might be the one area she can confidently win. But just before they start, Mai adds a condition. If she wins, Rinako will owe her a favor. Rinako gets flustered at the sudden challenge, but after seeing Mai's pleading puppy dog eyes, she can't bring herself to say no. They decide on a best 2 out of 3 match and begin playing. Rinako is focused and determined, hoping to secure a solid win. But to her shock, the results are completely one-sided. Mai easily wins the whole game. She accuses Mai of cheating, insisting there's no way a beginner could be that good. Mai casually reveals that she actually bought her own console and practiced ahead of time. Mai explains that her strategy was to just focus on a few strong moves and combos as she didn't have much time. Rinako slams the floor in frustration, feeling like Mai is perfect at everything all over again. Mai then reminds her about the favor she owes. Rinako groans and tells her to keep it simple as her mom is still in the house after all. Mai smiles and starts digging through her bag, making Rinako panic. She has no idea what kind of request Mai is about to pull out. To her relief, Mai holds up a small paper that simply says hug. Rinako is immediately suspicious. A hug seems too easy, but then Mai starts searching her bag again, wondering if she should pick something bolder. Rinako quickly agrees to the hug, not wanting to risk a worse request. When Mai moves in for the hug, Rinako can't help but admire how beautiful she is up close. The hug is gentle, Mai doing all the holding, while Rinako just sits there, frozen. Mai then quietly confesses her feelings again, saying how much she loves Rinako. Nervous, Rinako asks if she really means it. Mai pulls away slightly, blushing, surprised that Rinako is finally acknowledging her feelings. The next day, Rinako stares out the window during class, lost in thought. Ajisai notices and approaches her, gently touching her hand. She's surprised by how cold it feels and begins to rub it. Rinako starts to wonder if Ajisai might also have feelings for her. She tries to convince herself that Ajisai is just naturally kind to everyone, but the thought still lingers in her mind. part of her is curious enough to ask, but she's afraid of being harshly rejected and ruining their friendship. At that exact moment, Mai enters the classroom and sees the exchange between them. Feeling flustered, Renako quickly excuses herself and says she needs to use the bathroom. On her way there, she can't help but blame Mai's confession for making her overthink everything. Later during lunch, Renako and Mai go up to the rooftop and decide to write lists. Mai will write what she wants in a girlfriend, while Renako writes what she wants in a best friend. The mood is calm, and Renako can't help but admire how serious Mai looks while writing her list. They show off each other's list, and Renako's list is short and simple. She just wants to play games, go to theme parks, and hang out. Mai's list, on the other hand, is long and full of intimate activities. Renako is immediately shocked and accuses Mai of only wanting her for physical reasons. Mai calmly corrects her, explaining that body-wise, Renako isn't even her usual type. But when she loves someone, she wants to be close to them in every way, and right now, that person just happens to be Renako. Renako admits she thought Mai just wanted to date a girl on a whim, maybe because she had gotten bored of boys. But after that hug, she started to feel something deeper, like she finally caught a glimpse of just how strongly Mai feels about her. Mai gently asks if she can hold her hand. Renako slowly places her hand on top of Mai's and is surprised by the warmth, as if their feelings are somehow connected. Mai then says this kind of moment is exactly why she wants to be with someone she loves. But then she jokingly suggests they could go even further than kissing. Renako quickly pulls her hand away and scolds Mai for skipping too many steps. She pushes her list back at Mai, saying she just wants something more innocent, like a best friend. She invites Mai to hang out that weekend as friends. Mai smiles brightly and agrees. That night, Renako writes out a full plan for their outing. She also rewrites her list, realizing she wants a deeper and more genuine friendship than what she'd originally listed. When the weekend arrives, the two walk around town excited for their day together. She smiles to herself, glad to spend time with Mai outside of school. Mai notices her smile, and when Renako admits why she's happy, Mai blushes. Renako then realizes that people are turning their heads, clearly noticing Mai as they pass. As they walk through the busy streets, Mai explained that people tend to be drawn to her because of her modeling work. It's why she usually avoids crowded places. Renako notices two men starting to approach. Acting on instinct, she grabs Mai's hand and dashes toward them all. Mai questions her sudden action, but Renako quickly declares that she'll be protecting Mai for the rest of the day. Though surprised, Mai accepts the idea of playing the damsel, until Renako clarifies that she's only protecting her from men and that they're best friends. Mai immediately links her arm with Renako's, fully leaning into the role. Their first stop is the VR attraction. Renako guides Mai through the setup. Mai is transported to a snow-covered mountain where she finds herself skiing with Renako beside her. The two spend their allotted 2 hours switching between fast-paced games and immersive experiences, fully enjoying everything the VR world has to offer. Afterward, they sit by a nearby shop drinking lemonade. Both admit they had an amazing time. Mai reflects that owning a VR set wouldn't feel the same. The limited time and the presence of someone like a friend or a lover made it all the more exciting. Renako disagrees, saying playing with a romantic partner might make it harder to enjoy the moment as they'd be too self-conscious trying to look good instead of just having fun. Mai is curious and asks if Renako has ever been in a relationship. Renako avoids answering, instead reinforcing that she'd rather stay best friends with Mai so she can be herself without overthinking. She offers her hand, ready to move on to the next stop, shopping. Mai takes it, now understanding what Renako truly wants from a best friend. Just as they step outside, a sudden downpour starts. They run for cover, and Renako notices that Mai's soaked outfit has become see-through. She quickly guides Mai to a more discreet corner. Mai calls her mother, and after the call, asks Renako to accompany her to a nearby hotel to dry off. At the hotel, Mai draws a warm bath while Renako updates her parents. To Renako's surprise, Mai invites her to join in. Blushing at the thought, she hesitates but eventually agrees. She tries to convince herself that it's fine since they're friends today, not lovers. Though hesitant, Mai eventually convinces her to join her. Inside the bath, she avoids looking at Mai, intimidated by her beauty. Mai then apologizes for driving Renako into the hotel, explaining that she couldn't afford to get sick. Next week, she'll be in France helping her mother with work, and she has to stay healthy. Renako quietly acknowledges how demanding Mai's life must be. Unlike her, who struggles to meet her own expectations, Mai has to constantly meet the expectations of others. Mai leans on her and softly says she loves Renako for being the only one who sees how tired she is and shows her compassion. To lighten the mood, Renako jokes about how everyone sees Mai as a princess, but she knows the real, goofy version of Mai. She promises to stay by Mai's side through every high and low, just like any good best friend would. Mai gently touches Renako's face, pointing out that what she described could easily apply to lovers too. Letting her feelings take over, Mai lets her hair down and kisses Renako. Renako, wide-eyed, complains that it was her first kiss. Mai isn't discouraged, saying that sharing a first kiss is special, and leans in for another. Renako's thoughts spiral, trying to resist the growing feelings inside her. Thinking fast, she clips Mai's hair back up, claiming that kisses between friends don't count. Mai, not missing a beat, leans in for a third kiss and says that if kisses between friends don't count, then she can kiss her for fun too. She hugs Renako tightly and confesses her love once more. By the evening, the girls finally leave the hotel. Renako complains about being kissed without warning, but Mai playfully insists she would have done it sooner if Renako had let her. Renako protests, but deep down she can't deny it. The kisses still linger in her mind long after they part ways. Renako finds herself distracted throughout the school day due to her first kiss with Mai. She convinces herself that it didn't count since it was just a kiss between friends and nothing more. Satsuki notices Renako spacing out and decides to prod her about it. Caught off guard, Renako blurts out that Mai is leaving for France soon and quickly changes the topic by asking about Satsuki's relationship with her. Satsuki responds, admitting that while she and Mai are childhood friends, her reason for staying close to her is fueled by one day getting the satisfaction of seeing Mai suffer. Moments later, Mai passes by and both girls bid her a safe trip. Before leaving, Satsuki quietly warns Renako not to fall for Mai. She then notices a message from Mai asking her to come to the rooftop. Rushing upstairs, Renako finds Mai waiting with her hair down. Accusing her of setting up the moment, Renako tries to keep her guard up, but Mai steps in and wraps her in a tight embrace, whispering her love and saying how much she'll miss her. Renako resists, trying not to get swept up in the moment, but Mai manages to catch her off guard with a short kiss. Renako pushes her away, scolding her for breaking their promise not to kiss in school. Mai looks apologetic, but admits that she hasn't stopped thinking about their first kiss. Before Renako can protest again, Mai gives her one final hug and takes her leave. Afterward, Renako stands by the railing, scolding herself for noticing Mai's scent on her clothes. The next morning, Renako spots Mai in a new commercial during her commute and feels an unexpected sense of pride since she had kissed someone like Mai. At school, Ajisa comments about the gloomy weather and how strange everything feels without Mai around. She mentions that even Kato and Satsuki seem out of sorts. As Ajisa talks, Renako realizes how much she relies on Mai to stay connected with the group. Without her, she fears slipping back into isolation. But rather than give in to those feelings, Renako decides to take initiative. Determined to prove she can stand on her own, she asks Ajisa if she wants to hang out sometime. To her surprise, Ajisa agrees immediately. After school, she and Ajisa spend the afternoon exploring the mall, testing makeup and exchanging compliments with increasing ease. Ajisa praises the shade of lipstick she chose, and Renako, flustered, stammers out a compliment in return. Ajisa takes it in stride and with a playful smile, blows a kiss in Renako's direction. The moment catches Renako completely off guard. She fumbles for her phone and begs Ajisa to do it again so she can capture it on video. Ajisa obliges, and as she blows another kiss toward the camera, Renako feels her heart skip a beat. Without warning, Ajisa grabs Renako's hand and tugs at her, excited to explore more parts of the mall. Renako is startled by the gesture, and before she can stop herself, she asks if Ajisa likes her. Ajisa, without hesitation, says yes, completely earnest. As they head upstairs, Ajisa begins to open up. She talks about her younger brothers and how she often ends up scolding them for making a mess. Renako listens, surprised, since she can't imagine someone as cheerful and soft-spoken as Ajisa raising her voice. Ajisa glances at her and admits that shopping with someone as cute as Renako is like a dream come true. Renako's smile falters and her heart stings with unease. The guilt creeps in slowly, and she worries that she's beginning to fall for Ajisa. Just then, two boys from their class approach them. One of the boys mentions they're out buying something for his friend's girlfriend and casually invites Renako and Ajisa to join them for snacks. Renako stiffens, instinctively releasing Ajisa's hand. Her nerves kick in. Memories of always refusing group invites that included boys flood her mind. She thinks of Mai, of how easily she could have handled this, but then quickly stops herself. Trying to reply, Renako suddenly feels lightheaded and wobbles before passing out. After fainting, she and Ajisa stop near a vending machine, and the boys had excused themselves so Renako wouldn't feel self-conscious around them. Ajisa apologizes, saying she should have turned the offer down, knowing Renako isn't comfortable around guys. But Renako disagrees, telling her that Ajisa might have enjoyed hanging out with them and she would have just gotten in the way. Ajisa gently takes her hands and tells her that none of that matters. What's important is that they came out today to spend time with each other. The shopping trip had always been just for the two of them. Noticing that Renako is in better spirits, Ajisa says that whenever she wants to get her younger brother's attention, she holds their hands just like she's doing with Renako now. Renako smiles softly, admitting that the gesture definitely worked on her. They continue strolling through the mall, and Ajisa stops in front of a poster advertising a game. She excitedly points it out, saying she often plays it with her brothers and genuinely enjoys it. Renako recognizes the title and mentions she actually owns the latest installment. Without thinking too hard, she invites Ajisa over to play sometime. When Ajisa happily agrees, Renako feels a sudden wave of joy. Her heart lifts, and for the first time in a while, she feels like she's about to form a true friendship with someone new. That evening, Renako relaxes at home while trying out some free samples from the mall. Just then, her phone buzzes with a series of messages from Mai sharing photos of her day in Paris. Rinako messages her to enjoy herself even if she's still technically working. A moment later, Mai calls. Her tone is light, but she asks if something's wrong, saying Rinako's reply seemed distant. She tells her that her hair is tied up, so she's talking as just a friend now. Rinako lets out a small breath of relief. She tells Mai she saw her in a TV commercial earlier and felt proud seeing a friend on screen. Mai admits that work has been going smoothly but quietly confesses she felt a little disappointed. The job felt like something anyone could have done, and she's only special because she's the designer's daughter. She tells Rinako to forget it, but Rinako insists that best friends don't leave each other feeling down without trying to help. Eventually, Mai admits that she really loves Rinako. Rinako, unsure of what to say, gently asks if she's irreplaceable to Mai. Mai replies without hesitation that Rinako is irreplaceable. Rinako agrees, saying she feels the same way, especially because Mai is the boldest girl she's ever met. Rinako then casually mentions that she went shopping with Ajisai and plans to spend tomorrow playing games with her. Mai snaps, accusing her of cheating. Rinako quickly defends herself, insisting it was just a casual hangout and that she has the right to choose who to spend time with. Annoyed, Mai blurts out that she'll go date goddesses in France while Rinako plays with Ajisai, but she immediately takes it back. Mai assumes Rinako is only joking about seeing Ajisai, but when Rinako confirms that they are hanging out, Mai can't help but feel betrayed again. Before she can say anything more, Rinako tosses her phone aside, frustrated and emotionally spent. She regrets ever agreeing to their bet. Love is messy and exhausting. The next day at school, Kaho finally voices her irritation at Mai's absence. Satsuki, however, seems unbothered and even questions what makes Mai so important. Kaho immediately begins to explain how Mai's presence brightens the atmosphere, describing her as someone who brings energy and elegance to the school. Satsuki admits she actually prefers the peace without Mai around. Kaho teases her, claiming that even Satsuki probably misses her deep down. After school, Rinako brings Ajisai home with her. She introduces her to her younger sister briefly before retreating to her room, telling her sister not to disturb them since they'll be busy playing games. Ajisai is impressed by Rinako's collection and quickly selects a game she wants to try. Rinako notices it's the same game she played with Mai not too long ago. She imagines Mai's reaction to her and Ajisai playing the game, but she pushes it aside and begins setting it up. She promises to protect Ajisai in-game, knowing Ajisai already said she wasn't very good at it. Ajisai reminds her that if Rinako does everything, she'll have nothing left to do. Panicked, Rinako tries to think of how to handle the game differently, but Ajisai calmly reassures her and tells her to just play normally. At first, Rinako finds herself more nervous, but calms down after a few minutes as she settles herself in the game. When Ajisai shrieks in surprise after being ambushed by an enemy, Rinako finds her reaction surprisingly cute. Ajisai praises Rinako's skills and casually mentions inviting her over sometime. She adds that her younger brothers would love to meet someone so good at games. Curious, Rinako asks what kind of person Ajisai likes. Ajisai responds that she values someone who makes her feel safe. She then asks Rinako if she likes anyone. Rinako immediately denies it, but Ajisai points out that people usually ask those questions when they're hiding feelings. Embarrassed, Rinako replies that by that logic, she must like Ajisai. Ajisai pauses before teasing her, saying it's the first time a girl has confessed to her. Rinako shouts for her to stop teasing and waves her arms in a panic, denying she had confessed, but accidentally knocks Ajisai onto the floor. Rinako apologizes and Ajisai reassures her that she's fine. The doorbell rings and Haruna soon barges into the room to say that someone who looks like an actress is asking for Rinako. Curious, Rinako goes to check, only to find Mai, hair down and holding a bouquet of red flowers. Caught off guard, Rinako reminds Mai they can't act like lovers in front of Ajisai. Mai instead suggests they all hang out and play together. Ajisai comes down and is surprised to see Mai in person. After a few brief introductions, including one to Haruna, the four of them return to Rinako's room. Rinako, now surrounded by the two girls, isn't sure what either of them is thinking. To ease the tension, she asks Haruna to join the game session too. The group plays for a while, enjoying the shared activity. Eventually, Ajisai notices the time and says she has to leave. Rinako offers to walk her to the station, but Haruna, too nervous to be left alone with Mai, insists on accompanying Ajisai instead. Once they're gone, Mai immediately embraces Rinako from behind. She admits she returned not just for work, but because her jealousy has become unbearable. Rinako counters that Mai is acting selfishly. Still, Mai kisses her, confessing that her feelings have become too strong to ignore. Mai suddenly pushes Rinako down, saying she wants them to be a real couple. For a fleeting moment, Rinako imagines bragging to someone about being with Mai. But reality sets in and she realizes that if they cross that line, there's no going back. She tries to push Mai off, but Mai clings to her tightly, whispering words of love. Their moment is shattered when Haruna opens the door and freezes upon seeing them. She quickly leaves. Realizing what just happened, guilt washes over Mai. She begins apologizing, but Rinako, unable to deal with the situation any longer, slaps her and tells her to leave. Without another word, Mai walks out, leaving Renako behind, emotionally drained, confused, and wondering how everything has gone so wrong. Finally alone, Renako tries to sort through her tangled feelings about Mai. Her thoughts are interrupted when Haruna enters the room and nervously asks if she and Mai are really dating. Though nervous about being judged, Renako nods and confirms their relationship. To her surprise, Haruna is actually happy for her. She admits she always thought Renako would end up with a guy who had no direction in life, so this is a much better outcome since she thinks Mai would make an amazing sister-in-law. The next morning, Renako trudges her way to school, unsure how to face Mai after everything that happened. But Mai doesn't show up at all. By lunch, Renako eats with her usual group, but her thoughts are elsewhere. She wonders if it's still possible to remain friends with Mai now that everything between them has changed. She wanders the school halls aimlessly, lost in thought. Her emotions remain clouded with uncertainty until Satsuki suddenly calls out to her. With a serious expression, Satsuki tells her to meet her on the rooftop after school. With school done, Renako heads up, surprised to find the rooftop door already unlocked. Just as she enters, Satsuki appears from behind the door and reveals she has a duplicate key. Renako is caught off guard when Satsuki begins listing all the secrets she and Mai had tried to keep, from their emotional tug-of-war of friendship and love to the time they waited out the rain together in a hotel. Satsuki explains that Mai had told her everything the night before, and that Mai had cried, and she had to listen to everything until early morning. She adds that Mai confessed to hurting Renako. Satsuki admits that even after hearing all of it, she still doesn't understand what made Mai fall for someone like Renako, whom she considers the most average of their group. Renako can't help but feel stung, realizing that Satsuki had likely only tolerated her because of her closeness to Mai. Out loud, she admits that she doesn't think she's a good match for Mai, but Satsuki quickly clarifies that she doesn't really care who Mai chooses. What matters to her is that whoever it is isn't indecisive or careless with Mai's feelings. Renako quietly joins her at the railing, beginning to feel like Satsuki might actually understand some of the difficulties she's been facing with Mai. She cautiously asks if Satsuki is angry, and Satsuki confirms it, saying she's absolutely pissed that their whole love drama has stolen her sleep and study time. Renako smiles, strangely comforted by her bluntness. In that moment, she feels like she has an unexpected ally. She apologizes for hurting Mai and admits she wants to make things right with her. When she asks where Mai is, Satsuki doesn't give a direct answer. Instead, she tells Renako that she's starting to resemble Mai in more ways than she realizes. She even thought, for a moment, that their entire group might fall apart after this confrontation. Satsuki rises from where she and Renako had been sitting and admits that she doesn't actually know where Mai is at the moment. What she does know is that Mai had gone off looking for someone who could hold her. The last time they saw each other, Mai had suddenly asked to hold Satsuki after spilling her relationship with Renako, claiming that she was aware Satsuki was in love with her. Feeling insulted by the assumption, Satsuki had kicked her out around 5 in the morning, but after that, she couldn't get in touch with Mai anymore. Renako stares at Satsuki, slowly realizing that her reason for opening up wasn't just a vent. Satsuki was genuinely worried about Mai, even if she wasn't good at expressing it. Renako then asks if it's wrong that she doesn't want anyone else to hold Mai while she's this vulnerable. Satsuki raises an eyebrow, questioning her motives since Mai had hurt her just yesterday. But Renako answers with quiet confidence, offering a small smile while saying that it's normal for friends to hurt each other sometimes. She assures Satsuki that she'll bring Mai back. Before Renako leaves, Satsuki tells her she's leaving things in her hands. She has to tell Mai she isn't as amazing as she thinks she is. With that, Renako rushes back to her classroom to grab her things, determined to find Mai. But to her surprise, Ajisai is waiting for her, knowing that Renako would come back to retrieve her bag. Ajisai invites Renako over to hang out. Renako hesitates, tempted to say yes, but stops herself. If she accepts, she might lose her chance to make things right with Mai. Yet turning Ajisai down might mean she will lose the friendship she had formed with Ajisai. Torn, she tearfully declines the invitation, asking Ajisai to invite her another time. Ajisai searches awkwardly for her handkerchief, but Renako grabs her hand instead. She tells Ajisai she likes her and wants to hang out every day if she could. But today, something important needs her attention. She promises to make it up to her and admits she finds Ajisai cute and might even like her forever. Ajisai gets the wrong idea. Blushing, she confesses that she likes Renako too, closing her eyes and leaning in as if expecting a kiss. Renako, confused, doesn't realize what she's doing and simply suggests that Ajisai should hang out with Satsuki or Kaho for now. Ajisai realizes her misunderstanding and calms down. She agrees to the suggestion but tells Renako that Kaho already has plans for the day. That triggers something in Renako's memory. She pulls out the Akasaka membership card from her bag and realizes that Mai must be there with Kaho. Renako thanks Ajisai and dashes off, muttering curses under her breath at Mai for being the reason she had to miss time with Ajisai. She arrives at the hotel and is stunned to see a party for Mai in full swing. A large crowd is gathered just for her. Spotting Kaho near a board, Renako pulls her aside and demands to know what's going on. Kaho hands her an envelope from Mai. Inside, Renako finds out that today is a suitor's party. Mai had invited everyone who had ever confessed their love to her. She gestures to the crowd and asks Kaho if she's still interested. Without hesitation, Kavo confirms that she is. Renako, clearly unimpressed, declares that she's going to put an end to this ridiculous party. But Kavo stops her, insisting that Mai isn't being serious about any of this. Renako argues otherwise, convinced that Mai's actions are more real than anyone thinks. Kavo continues trying to dissuade her. Realizing that Kaho won't cooperate, Renako switches her approach. She tells Kaho that if the party is stopped now, she might actually have a better chance at winning Mai's heart since they're close friends. Finally, she gives Renako her blessing to go through with her plan. But before leaving, she casually mentions that she knows Renako likes Mai too. Renako tries to deny it, but Kaho is already walking away, satisfied with her own conclusions. Meanwhile, on the top floor of the hotel, Mai stands by the pool, preparing to finally show herself to the party. She looks down at the water, murmuring a quiet apology to Renako. Suddenly, she hears Renako and looks up to see her now in a swimsuit. Renako tells her bluntly that if she wants forgiveness, she should ask for it directly. Mai is momentarily stunned by the sight and instinctively reaches for her phone, only to realize she left it behind. Renako scolds her for ignoring calls and reveals that Satsuki had told her everything. She then urges Mai to stop the party and says she'll forget it ever happened. She even apologizes for slapping her, admitting her own fault in their fight. But Mai doesn't budge. Renako shifts tactics again, saying it's wrong to date people she doesn't even like. Mai responds bitterly, saying she doesn't get to date the one she actually loves anyway. As they're saying goodbye, Mai thanks Renako for the time they had together and asks her to pray that she finds love in her next relationship. Renako reminds her of the challenge they made, but Mai ends it coldly, stating they're no longer lovers or friends, just classmates. Renako yanks off Mai's hair tie, declaring that the challenge isn't over. She delivers Satsuki's message, and when Mai insists her mistake was unforgivable, Renako interrupts her with a sudden kiss. After they part, Renako gently reminds Mai that everyone makes mistakes. She apologizes once more for slapping her and finally admits that ever since their first kiss at the hotel, she's been thinking of Mai in a romantic way. Mai looks at Renako with hope in her eyes, quietly asking why she had slapped her. Renako explains that it was because Mai wasn't being mindful of the time and place. Even with the explanation, Mai still seems consumed by guilt, convinced she had done everything wrong. Growing frustrated, Renako insists that they only had one small fight and it isn't enough to destroy everything they had built. She confesses that she still likes Mai despite it all. Renako reminds her that Mai had once jumped off the rooftop to save her, and while she doesn't have the same kind of bravery, she can promise to always stay by Mai's side. That she believes is something a lover and a best friend should do. To make her point, she grabs Mai's hand and pulls her up, leading her to leap into the pool. Beneath the water, the two gaze at each other before sharing another kiss. When they resurface, Renako hopes her actions were enough to express what words couldn't. Mai, now more certain, confirms it but quickly covers Renako's eyes. She tells Renako that she doesn't want her to see her crying before complimenting her kindness and softly thanking her. Afterward, Mai decides to cancel the party. To make it up to everyone, she gives a heartfelt performance with her guitar. To Renako's surprise, the guests respond warmly, and the mood lightens much more than she had expected. The next day, school resumes as usual. Kavo still has the wrong idea about Renako's relationship with Mai, and Renako can't shake off the guilt of not visiting Ajisai's house. Meanwhile, Mai and Satsuki return to their usual banter and playful arguments. In the middle of everything, Renako begins to realize how much closer she's grown to the people around her. High school is finally starting to feel like a place she belongs. As June comes to an end, so does the challenge between her and Mai. They meet after school to finally settle everything, this time in Mai's penthouse located in a luxury condominium. Riding the private elevator to the top floor, Renako is awestruck by how massive the place is. Shikun describes it as if she's being swallowed whole by Mai, to which Mai cheekily replies that it would mean they'll be together forever. Holding Renako's hand, Mai finally asks for her answer. Renako surprises her by admitting she's still unsure about officially becoming a couple. The answer stings, but Renako clarifies that she still wants to be Mai's best friend, someone who will stay by her side but also give her the freedom to grow and do what she wants. To bridge the gap, Renako proposes that they be Rima friends, a new type of bond just for the two of them. She explains that it's something more than friends but not quite lovers. Mai playfully teases her for inventing a third option, but Renako reminds her that she had once done the same when she called off the bet and said they'd just returned to being classmates. Mai groans at the memory but leans in, accepting Renako's terms. While Renako may call it Rima friends, Mai makes it clear she'll continue working to win Renako over before graduation. Renako agrees to the new challenge, and with a grin, Mai pushes her playfully onto the couch. One morning at school, Renako rests her head on her desk, lost in thought over her current situation with Mai. Her daydreaming is interrupted when Satsuki suddenly calls her up to the rooftop for a talk. As they arrive, Renako guesses that it must be about Mai again, but Satsuki responds with a sharp glare. Renako quickly apologizes, but Satsuki admits that she did bring her up there to talk about Mai. Renako soon realizes that Satsuki and Mai still haven't spoken. She tentatively asks if Satsuki wants help in making up with Mai. However, Satsuki asserts that she has nothing to apologize for, as Mai is the one who should say sorry. The real problem, she says, is that Mai never sees her own faults until it's too late. Even so, Satsuki promises that she won't back down until she gets her revenge. That last comment puts Renako on alert, worried that she might be part of Satsuki's plan. She tries to leave, but Satsuki traps her in place by placing her arms on either side of her. Then, without warning, she asks Renako to be her girlfriend. Renako is caught off guard by the sudden confession. Suspicious, she asks if this is part of the revenge scheme, but Satsuki insists she genuinely likes Renako. Renako stares in disbelief, something about the way Satsuki said it felt too rehearsed. She asks her to give a reason as to why she likes her. Satsuki replies that it's because Renako knows her own limits. The answer strikes Renako as unusual. Satsuki, noticing her reaction, asks if she's not good enough. Panicking, Renako begins rattling off compliments, pointing out how beautiful and admirable Satsuki is. Renako finally explains that she doesn't think she'd be good at dating anyone. Satsuki shrugs it off, saying they'll likely break up in a month anyway, so they should just date for now. Later, Renako returns to class completely drained. When Ajisai greets her, Renako feels strangely revived, remarking internally that Ajisai gives off the calm energy of a priestess, despite Ajisai wanting to be a warrior. Ajisai asks if something happened with Satsuki, but before Renako can respond, Kawo jumps in, wondering if Satsuki and Mai will reconcile before their group hangout in 2 weeks. Ajisai mentions that it would help if they actually knew what happened between the two girls. Just then, the teacher arrives and Kawo drops the topic, promising they'll do what they can to help the two reconcile. She slips back into her seat, complimenting the teacher's outfit in hopes of staying out of trouble. Meanwhile, Renako glances between Mai and Satsuki, already knowing that Kawo's optimistic dream doesn't align with Satsuki's true intentions. After school, Mai suggests they all walk to the station together and hang out. Renako forces an uneasy smile, feeling torn since she had actually planned to head straight home. Mai quickly picks up on her hesitation and tells the group they should go on without Renako if she has other plans. Grateful for Mai's intuition, Renako inwardly thanks her for understanding. However, Satsuki takes the opportunity to intervene, casually announcing that Renako actually has plans with her today. She flashes a knowing smile at Mai before focusing on Renako, who begins to grow visibly tense. Satsuki signals with her eyes, clearly wanting to continue the conversation they left off earlier. Kaho sees this as a perfect setup and encourages Renako to take care of Satsuki, while she and Ajisai walk with Mai instead. Renako wants to explain that this isn't some plan to get Mai and Satsuki to make up. Mai turns to look at Renako with a questioning expression, but Renako, worried that the two might start fighting again if they stayed together longer, agrees to go with Satsuki. Later, Satsuki treats Renako to some drinks and cheerfully admits how satisfying it was to see the look on Mai's face when she walked off with Renako. Hoping to defuse the situation, Renako suggests that maybe they could all just return to being friends the next day. Satsuki flatly rejects the idea, saying she'd only just begun. What happened earlier was merely to confirm how special Renako is to Mai. She then admits that dating Renako comes with many benefits. But Renako refuses to go along with it anymore, saying it feels wrong to use someone for revenge, especially when that someone's a friend. Satsuki seems caught off guard by Renako calling her a friend, and Renako quickly explains that she honestly didn't know if they were since she didn't want to assume anything without Satsuki saying it first. Satsuki quietly confirms she isn't mad at the idea of being considered friends, but says she still has a favor to ask. Renako is dismayed, realizing she had walked into a trap, and Satsuki apologizes for driving her into her fixation with Mai. But she clarifies that they're not really friends, they're just part of the same group. Feeling defeated, Renako nervously asks if it's still possible for her and Mai to make up. Satsuki gives her an irritated look and Renako begins to tear up. She admits that she doesn't want their group to be awkward anymore. If things continue this way, she won't even want to go to school anymore. Satsuki is confused by Renako's sudden tears, and after a brief pause, she decides to make a proposal. She'll agree to make up with Mai on the condition that Renako goes out with her for 2 weeks. Renako stares at Satsuki in disbelief, but before she can say anything, Satsuki, almost uncharacteristically, begins to plead with her. She doesn't push for an answer right away and instead waits patiently, watching as Renako processes the offer. Renako thinks it over. She remembers how Satsuki had helped her find out about the suitors' party and was ultimately the reason why Mai isn't with a random person right now. Finally clearing her hesitation, Renako agrees. She tells Satsuki she's willing to go along with the plan, but only with boundaries in place. They agree that the relationship will only last 2 weeks. Still, Renako finds herself reflecting on how, out of all their friends, she relates to Satsuki the most. They may not be close, but they seem to understand each other better than the others do. Part of her also wants to see Mai get worked up, and Satsuki had already promised that once the 2 weeks were up, everything would go back to normal. As they finally leave the school grounds, Satsuki suggests they visit a nearby shrine before parting ways. Renako agrees and follows her. She learns that Satsuki often comes to the shrine when she needs to clear her mind. Satsuki even shares a memory of when Maya once came here with her back in elementary school, crying and clinging to her, and says it's just one more reminder of how badly she wants to defeat Mai. Alarmed, Renako scolds her, insisting that she should at least wish for their friendship to be restored instead of defeating Mai. Satsuki admits that she knows she's flawed and probably too insensitive, and that she's not Renako's type. Still, she promises to repay her properly for going along with the plan. Then she suddenly asks what Renako's type actually is, hinting that she may like Mai. Renako nervously insists that she doesn't like girls in that way. Satsuki watches her closely for a moment and then declares that she'll be the best girlfriend she can be, regardless of Renako's or her feelings. She says she'll act like a dedicated wife for the entire 2-week period. This declaration causes Renako to panic again. Satsuki promises to make it a good experience, and Renako's entire face turns red with embarrassment. Satsuki is pleased by the reaction and teases her, but Renako denies enjoying it. Satsuki then confesses she's relieved Renako doesn't want anything too physical, since she wouldn't know what to do anyway. But she can't help asking if Renako wants Mai that way. Renako tries to deny it again, but Satsuki presses. Satsuki then tells her that she considers herself attractive. Flustered, Renako quickly confirms that she does find Satsuki attractive. Satsuki then immediately asks what makes me different. The mood shifts as Renako grows more and more stressed, realizing Satsuki is turning this into a competition of who she prefers between them. Satsuki had promised she would stay friends with Mai, and that was enough for now. Wanting to show her appreciation, Renako walks up to Satsuki, bows politely, and asks to be in her care. However, Satsuki chooses to be more affectionate and gently takes Renako's hand, even suggesting they take a photo together. After snapping the picture, Satsuki casually mentions that she'll be posting it online so Mai can see it. At that moment, Renako can't help but imagine her like a wicked witch. Days pass following their agreement. Renako observes that despite being in a relationship, things feel surprisingly normal. They don't do much that resembles typical dating aside from walking home together. During one of these walks, Satsuki attempts to get to know Renako better and asks about her hobbies. Renako admits she likes games, though Satsuki initially assumes she means card games. Noticing the disconnect, Renako tries to explain more clearly, describing the kinds of games she plays. Satsuki then realizes she means FPS games and surprises Renako by recognizing the acronym. Renako is even more surprised when Satsuki mentions she knows the term because her mother plays games, breaking Renako's assumptions about what Satsuki's household might be like. Curious, Satsuki asks if FPS games are fun. She wants to know if Renako personally enjoys them. Renako admits that she does, mostly because she can focus on herself and play for her own enjoyment. Satsuki finds that relatable and opens up about her own interest in reading. She shares how she often gets lost in books, especially stories about people who refuse to give up. Renako smiles at this, admitting she likes similar stories. Satsuki teases her about not seeming the type to read, but before they part at the station, she hands Renako a book. Satsuki admits that while she's not used to this sort of thing, she wants to try to meet Renako halfway. Since dating her, she started to develop more genuine feelings and thanks Renako for being such a good example. On the train home, Renako opens the book, but quickly finds it too embarrassing to read in public. The next day, Mai approaches her with her hair tied up. Instead of heading for their usual rooftop spot, she invites Renako into a private limousine. There, Mai calmly asks about the relationship between Renako and Satsuki. Nervously, Renako replies that they've gotten close over the past few days and apologizes, to which Mai simply smiles. Mai questions the apology but tells her that she knows Satsuki is planning something and that Renako is likely involved. With a touch of pride, she starts complimenting herself, pointing out how she always seems to know everything and how she remains someone Renako clearly cares about. Satsuki reassures Renako that she would never blame her for being kind or siding with others, so long as she returns to her in the end. She insists that being friends with Satsuki will actually benefit her, since Satsuki is a kind person. Curious, Renako asks about Mai's past with Satsuki. Mai explains that they met in the 5th year of elementary school. At the time, she was naive, thinking everyone would naturally love her. Satsuki, however, had seen her at her worst and still chose to remain friends with her. Mai describes Satsuki as irreplaceable, almost as important to her as Renako is now. Renako suggests that maybe they should reconcile given how much Mai still clearly values their bond. But Mai says it's not that simple, as Satsuki is far too stubborn. For now, she's allowing Satsuki to do whatever she wants and tells Renako she can go along with her. After school, as Renako and Satsuki prepare to leave the classroom, they spot Mai waiting just outside the door. Renako tries to casually bid her goodbye, but before she can say much, Satsuki suddenly wraps her arms around her and calls her affectionately. The gesture makes Mai's eye twitch, and Renako panics as she feels the tension between the two rise again. Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss new episodes every week.